Hey everybody, Barry here again. Welcome to another 4L80 doing a whole bunch of random stuff today video. I said I'd film everything and there's a couple things that I skipped filming and I felt bad about it, so we're going to do it today. And there's a few things that I haven't done yet that's going to be a continuation from my seal install video that I did like last week or whatever, because I was talking to Zach and Quinn and they said, hey, there's a couple seals that you missed. Going to want to fix that up. So that's what I'm going to do today. So we'll talk about ohming out the connector and how to do an ohm test to make sure that all these pressure switches are good, and then we'll replace the seals in that one. And my transmission's all the way over here. We'll talk about the band adjustment for the reverse servo. A little bit of a spoiler alert, I went ahead and ordered a new band because I didn't like the way that this one was looking, and I ordered a front band as well because I thought, well, I mean, I'm already putting through a Rock Auto order. Might as well get the front one too. Still waiting on parts, so I'm going to try to do everything I can and take advantage of every minute that I can to give this transmission the absolute best chance at survival and leave no chance for something to be damaged or broken or needing replaced that I could otherwise have known about. Well, all I'm going to need for this test is just basically the cheapest multimeter that I can find. I know, yes, you can buy Snap-on, you can buy whatever, that's really expensive, and all I need is an ohm test. It's just got to go beep and tell me the resistance. So, what we have here is a manifold pressure switch, and this sends signals to the solenoids to do their job. We've got PRND4, PRND43, low D4, and over here is reverse. So when fluid is directed through the valve body, it comes and presses this little switch. That's all that is a little switch. Each one has a terminal on each side of it. You can see here and there. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is just make sure this works. I'm sure that's loud and annoying, but that just means it works. Now, does it give us a resistance value? Yes, it does. All right, so I'm just going to go and test across the connections of each one. I'm going to try to do this so everybody can see, but I've got a feeling it's just not going to be that easy. So, no continuity across an open connector. Now I'm going to push, and that works. Oh. And we have 1.4 and dropping. We've got like 0.5 ohms, so that connector is perfectly fine, or that switch I should say. And I guess we don't really need the beep because that's just annoying. We can all see the numbers. I'm just gonna push down on this one. It's kind of hard to tell. We've got like 0.3 ohms on that one. That's perfect. And we just work our way across. It's hard to press on it and hold the tool at the same time. We have 0 ohms on that one. That one's even better. I think if we gave it time to really settle out, all the rest of them would be pretty much 0 ohms too. So I'm just touching across the connectors. No resistance, but it's not open. So that, like OL like that, means there's nothing. But if you touch it together and there's no resistance, that's a perfect connection. And I'm going to try to press down on this one. My hands are shaking because I'm froze here. The AC is on and it's like -2 or something outside. So, and we've got no resistance across that one, so that's good. And this pressure switch is case ground, so that means it grounds through this metal frame right here. So I've got to check each pin to the frame while pressing a combination of buttons. And luckily I have the instructions right here that shows in this orientation of the switch. So the bench test, we connected across all the connectors. We know they're good. Connect one lead to the metal body, the other to lead pin A. Press reverse and press low. It should show continuity. Not at the same time. So I'm going to put my black lead. So I'm going to put my black lead on the case right there for the ground. I'm just going to check over here. And I don't have a good ground. Let's try it again. This is always so difficult. I need the alligator clip ones. I guess that's where having a good multimeter comes in handy. There we go. All right, so pin A would be the topmost, which is right over here. So I'm just gonna touch that one on there, and it says to press reverse, which is the one that's over here. Yep, we've got 1.5 ohms and dropping, we're just fine. And now press the low switch, which is this one. We've got like 3 ohms and dropping, we're good. Now move the meter from A to B pin, which is this one right down here. You can't really see the pins, but you'll see it when you're looking for it. And now press PRND 4 and 4-3 at the same time. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. There we go. We have 2 ohms and dropping, we're fine. Then move it to C. And press PRND 43 and drive at the same time. So 4-3 is this one, and drive. And we're like 3 ohms and dropping, so we're just fine. So that means this pressure switch is perfectly fine. I'm happy to hear that, because that's one less thing that I have to buy. And now I need to change the seals right here. I've never done it before, so I'm not going to do it on the one I know that's good. I'm just going to do a little practice run. This pressure switch over here might be fine as well, but I don't want to risk it on something that I know is perfectly fine. So I'm just going to see if this is going to work. I'm sure it's not hard to damage these. Okay. And there we go. That one came right off, and it's got like a little shoulder looking thing. Let's make sure I didn't damage anything. Oh, you can hear a nice little snap. It was kind of hard to tell with all those rubber seals there. So I know that's easy enough to take out. So now I'll do it on this one. I'm going to try this with a flat screwdriver because I feel like that would do less damage. So, just going to try to do this so everybody can see. Just hook it on under there and pry it out. And look, I didn't damage that seal at all. So we'll replace. I think I'll just take them all out so I don't end up getting them mixed up. That's easy enough to replace. Basically want to be careful not to damage this plastic at all. As I'm sure after 20 years of being submerged in transmission fluid and heat, it's probably could be brittle, which I suppose is reason enough to replace it if you have the extra money to do that. Okay. And here's the new seal. It's not flattened out at all. And the old ones aren't super flattened out or anything, but yeah, they are a bit thinner. So, I'm sure there's kind of a trick to getting this in under, but the little land, or whatever you want to call it, has to go in under the plastic, between the copper and the plastic anyway. Don't really want to use tools too much if I don't have to. There we go. Right on. Yep, sounds good. Okay, push that one down. Just got to poke a little screwdriver in under there just a little bit to help feed it in under the plastic piece. I almost didn't even bother changing this, but I was like, well, man, I already have it. It came with the seal kit, so it would be irresponsible for me not to change it. Okay, yep, that one looks good. When I first started this, it was absolutely terrifying, the amount of seals and gaskets that were in the package. But after changing all the ones that I knew, it wasn't quite as bad because I didn't have as many left over. It's kind of like doing a test in high school. Oh, here comes a racket of sirens again. Okay, that's another one almost done. Just got to feed it in under. Basically, the main thing here is just take your time. Don't go crazy. Go prying on stuff or hooking screwdrivers in where they don't need to be. This one's being a little bit finicky, but that'll be okay in a second. There we go, that's another one. So spin it around there, make sure it's all good and connected. I don't want any leaks, of course. And it almost looks like I'm missing one. Maybe I'm not. Okay, I think I'm good. Going to want to kind of fold up and under a little bit, but we'll get it with a little minimal effort. Gotta push it down a little. There we go. The other one is right down here. There's a bunch of seals that I'm not going to need to use because they fit other transmissions, like the early 4L80, and apparently the Turbo 400 uses some of these. So that means that I don't have to use them all, and that's good because I don't know where most of them go. Okay, that's all those seals replaced. Nice. Next up is the center support. And there's a seal in here that I thought it was funny that there was two of, which it almost looked like a shifter, manual shifter linkage seal or whatever, until Quinn pointed out that it goes in right here. And this is for the center support where the rear oil feed line goes into. And he said that it goes in on kind of a weird angle. You can see that it's not centered with the outside flange. It goes in on more of an angle like this. So I'm going to go and pop that one out. go. And you can see, now I didn't do any damage or anything, but the center hole is a bit bigger in this used one. So it's, I mean, it's a good thing it comes with the kit. And of course, that's why they put it in the kit, obviously. Okay. Now I don't have a vise that I trust to not destroy this thing, so I'm just going to do it over here. Just kind of let it sit in place a little bit. Maybe I'll lay it down like this. I don't know if that's going to make it any easier to see or not. But I've got a, what is this, 10mm socket, and it seems to be pretty square against that seal. I don't think there's going to be an easy way to do this. Give it a little tappy tap. Make sure it's going in there straight. Alright, that's looking good. Alright. That's that one replaced. Beautiful. I didn't beat it up or anything, I just got the socket up against it. Looks good. I've got to address this. It came with 2 sets of seals for the center support. One was the PTFE solid seal, and the other one was this split lock type seal. The instructions said it's perfectly fine to use either one. I've watched transmission builder videos where they said it doesn't matter. Quinn said he doesn't really like this style, but I'm just going to go on and use it because I'm sick of dealing with PTFE fittings or seals. So I'm just going to keep these split lock ones. That's what all the extra oil pressure is for. I posted a short this morning asking if anybody had a chart that shows all the solenoid resistances so I could test them all. And right here we've got 1, 2, 2, 3, PWM, pressure control solenoid, all that stuff. Everything is listed out. Now, I don't know why I cannot for the life of me find a diagram of what these solenoids are. So I think these are the 1, 2, and 2, 3 shift solenoids. I'm just going to go and test them all anyway, just to see what the resistance is. It says resistance here at 20 degrees Celsius. It's not right on 20 here. I would say it's probably closer to 17 or 18 degrees here. So, I mean, it'll be close. So I'm going to go ahead and check this pink colored one. I'll lay this right here so we can all see. So if this is a shift solenoid, it should be relatively close to 20, yeah, 19 to 24, and this one is at 20.8. So I think that's perfect. I don't have a way to stabilize this at 100 degrees Celsius, so I'm just gonna hope that it works. If it doesn't, then, well, I'll deal with it later. I know that's irresponsible, but I'm not gonna put this thing in a pot of boiling water. Next up, we've got the black solenoid down here. Let's check that one. It's a little slow coming up, but we're at 20.4. So that would make sense for both of those to be shift solenoids. That was kind of my suspicion. And now I'm gonna do this one over here, this little one. It's gonna be hard to get my pins in there, but that should do it. It's going to come up and stabilize at 10.2, and the PWM solenoid says 10 to 11, so this is a very incorrect way of doing this, but if one comes up and says open, well, obviously there's something wrong with it, so, you know. And then here's the last one over right here. I don't know what I just pressed, but I don't know if I was supposed to or not. Ow. And again, it's going to be nearly impossible to do this, but I'm going to stick my leads in there. Oops. And we're at 4.3 ohms. And that one on the list, which would be the closest, is the pressure control solenoid valve, which is 3 to 5 ohms. So, I mean, it makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. So I'm going to call it a win. Well, at least I didn't find any that are extremely out of resistance. or completely open, so that's a good start. Also, Quinn said there was another seal that I missed, and where was it? Where was it? I think it might have been this one. I missed an O-ring, so I'll do that now. Right. If anybody has any information at all that you think could help, and you don't mind sharing it, I would absolutely love that. I've had a bunch of people send some really, really good information, and I appreciate it a lot, because I'm just a guy who's trying to build a transmission, trying to do it as right as I can. Okay. Now I don't have a way to push back through, so I am going to have to get in there and pry a little. I don't like doing that, but sometimes that is the case. Oh, here we go. Okay, I can do it from back there. Ooh, scary. Really, really don't like prying on those little passages. Definitely don't want to damage anything. There we go. Come on out. Oh, there's another little O-ring in there. I can see it. Nice. All right, so here's the outside. Oh, a little bit of wear on that one. Oh, almost lost a check ball. So that one goes like that. Check ball doesn't roll away. And then the O-ring guy is right there. No doubt somebody makes some special tool for this that's $200 and can't be gotten, but a little tappy tap because it came out a little off square. I think the O-ring is catching. I don't like giving it tappy taps, especially not on machined surfaces, but sometimes you just got to do it. Hook that in behind and just pull it out. Here we go. All right, so there's the O-ring. How would I have ever found that O-ring without somebody telling me? Good question. So I'm going to pop that one off. Ooh, don't fly away on me. I do have another valve body that I'm not using if it comes down to it, like if I lose an O-ring or if I lose this piece or whatever. I'm really going to try not to do that, but there's the old one. And I would say the new one is going to look like that. Yep. All right, old one is gone. A little bit of assembly grease on that. Make sure it all goes back in nice and slippery like. Okay, O-ring in. I want to make sure nothing's damaged. I don't love how this one's going back in. I know the O-ring is catching there a little bit, but there we go. Little gingerly tappy taps. Don't go crazy. Much better. Okay. little more, being careful not to lose the check bolt. Right on. And now the roll pin. Beautiful. All right, that's the valve body finished. Yep. Next up are the oil pump to case bolts, and it took me a minute to figure out what Quinn meant by that. I didn't know if it was bolts that held the pump together, but no, it's the ones that hold the pump to the transmission case. So here's the little washer that's coming out, and I'm going to replace it with the red ones. Just got to pop those under there. It stops leaks from the oil pump out through the case, which is, yeah, pretty important. This is one that I missed. It's easy to miss things on this. Like, it doesn't look that bad until you take it apart and the transmission parts line off the entire bench. Then it starts to look scary. But I gotta say, this is the most fun that I've had in a long time. Like, doing turbo kits and putting engines together and all that stuff, that is a lot of fun, and it's very rewarding, I gotta say. But I've done a lot of that stuff. I have done quite a lot of it over the last few years, and this is not even done yet. It hasn't shifted a gear yet, but it feels so good to have all these new parts, 2, 4, 6, 7, to have all these new parts and a transmission that's cleaned and looks awesome, and Dwayne powder coated it, and it looks beautiful, and it's just so motivating. So if there's any one bulletproof part on the entire truck, it really should be this transmission after I'm done. And if not, then I don't know what to tell you. I guess I failed. So, easy enough. Pop those washers on there, or those O-rings, I guess you'd call them. And that's another part of the truck, or the transmission, that's finished and ready to put back together. I'm still waiting on parts, so I'm in no rush to put this back together, so I really want to do everything really nicely. So those will get back in the box, ready for reassembly. Now let's talk about my problem child for the week, the reverse servo and band. So I've got the transmission assembled up to this reverse drum, and I have the band around it, of course. And I was checking the depth, the plunge depth, and found out something that I didn't know. So in these transmissions, there are, I want to say 5. It might not be, but there's a bunch of different length servo pins, and they all play a part. With a shorter pin, it'll never go down far enough to actually clamp the band, and you won't have reverse. And look what I have here. It doesn't look like much, but there's definitely a 1/16 of an inch, and maybe even more. So this is the longer pin. I had the shorter one in there, and when I pushed it down, geez, it went down like 3/8 of an inch. And like, well, that's not gonna do it. So I went on Jake's Transmission, or Jake's Performance YouTube channel, and he showed how he does it, and we'll do that right now. So here's a spot where this servo goes. I don't have a spring in here. All I have is the washer, the pin, and a little E-clip on top. So I'm gonna push that one down in its bore. And what he was saying was, come on, go down there. There you go. What he was saying was have this lip flush, because that's basically where it is at its rest point, and then push down and measure the depth, and it should be between 70 and 80 thousandths. Just to be absolutely sure I'm doing this right, I went a little further ahead and put this cap on right here, and I drilled a hole in the top, and I cut the side out. I got this idea from Ryan Blazer, and I cut the side out, and I'm going to bolt that down. And now I've got that clamped down to its rested position. I'm just going to take my dial indicator and I'll turn it around so we can all see. I'm just going to put that one on right there. We'll zero that out, and now I'll check the plunge depth. So I'm just going to hook my screwdriver in right here, and I'm going to push down on it. There we go. So what I have is right on 0, we're all the way to 100, and then we're at, I can push it to like 120. So what that tells me is my pin is too short. That's for potentially 2 reasons. Either my pin being worn out over time of just basically being plunged in a reciprocal motion at the band, or my band is worn out. And that's definitely possible because this thing had at least a couple 100,000 on it. And I could have welded onto the pin, made it longer, ground it until it came out perfect at a 70 to 80 thousandths, which is basically putting a band-aid on a problem, because I'm putting a trans brake on this thing and it's going to want that reverse band to be in good shape. So I thought it'd be better to just go order a new band. When that comes in a week or so, then we'll do this test again, see where we are. And if I have to make some adjustments, I'll do that then. And also, yes, if you noticed, I used a 1/4 extension for my other shaft. I didn't have the right size one, and 1/4 fit in there perfect. So that's some backyard engineering right there, using the right parts the wrong way. So that's pretty much what I had planned for today. I think that's good for this video. I'm still waiting on steels to come in. Quinn's D1 trans brake should be here hopefully this week, so that'll be really exciting. And then the bands will be in sometime in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. And then we'll really hammer down on getting this thing done. So I'm all done for today. Let me know what you think. If you have any issues with the processes I used, or if you have any information, please pass it along. It will not only benefit me, but anybody else who's following along and looking for information for their transmission build. So thanks for checking out the channel. Thanks to my YouTube members, patrons, and subscribers. If you want to check out my Patreon, it's patreon.com/stationroadratrods. YouTube members link is down here. And thanks for watching. Have a great day, everybody.